Very good evening to you all, everybody. A second time, welcome to the Singapore circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. Round 21 of 22 in EU1. One more week to go, and we have a treat for you tonight. For once in a lifetime, EU1 has some rain coming in the race. But before we get to that point, we have 18 minutes of qualifying to get through, and to get through it with me is Jack Prentice as per.
Yes, great to be here. It's going to be quite an interesting way that they're going to approach the qualifying. Usually what happens if it's a wet, dry race, the drivers will know, we usually don't. But if it is a wet, dry race, then they may put what is deemed as a hybrid setup on. Now that's part dry, part wet, but obviously Singapore's a really high downforce circuit, so apart from the ride heights and potentially softening the suspensions, there isn't an awful lot for the drivers to do, to be perfectly honest. With this in mind, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how much that changes the grip. There's a lot of drivers already out on circuit early. It's also going to change the strategy quite a bit too, because it depends really on when that rain comes.
So it is quite a long circuit actually. That's why it's so many laps. 31 laps this evening, 61 IRL, 5.06 kilometers, 23 corners, 14 left, 9 right. Race distance 157 kilometers, and of course 2 DRS zones. A short one down to turn 1, and a bit of a longer one down the boulevard down to turn 7. Contester speaks paragraph. The 5.06 kilometer Marina Bay circuit is one of the most physically demanding on the calendar, and just to add to that, it's also one of the longest in terms of time. Its bumpy street circuit coupled with humid conditions give the drivers plenty to think about. 23 corners, they're working the wheel a lot around the high speed lap overall. The physical stress causing them to lose as much as 3 kilograms over the course of a race. So someone vaporized in Montana, losing 1.5 kilos apparently. It also boasts some of the most unique features of any track on the F1 calendar, including turn 18, which is where they go under the tunnel, which is underneath a grandstand. Jack, you had a good finish in Singapore this week, didn't you, I believe?
Yeah, before not really a lot happened in my race. It's a track really that rewards you for keeping it out of the barriers. If you show it the right amount of respect, it will pay you back. For me, it was keeping out of the barriers, and there's been a few other drivers who have done quite well this week for keeping out of trouble from lowly positions, and certainly a few have paid for getting themselves into unnecessary difficulty. You're right in what you say. It's a very long lap. It's not just physically demanding, actually, for a sphere like this, an environment like this. It's also very mentally demanding. It's a lot of thinking, because those walls, with the exception of heavy braking zones, don't leave you alone. So whereas normally you'd be able to, if you miss a braking point, or if you go a bit too fast through a corner, you can just go off wide and you'll recover it, you'll lose a couple of seconds. Here, you'll hit the barrier, that'll cost you a front wing, or a front wing end plate, and leave you very, very vulnerable. I'm noticing now everybody except Rowan in the Renault, they are on soft tyres. Now, soft tyres go very, very quickly here. So they're going to be planning for that rain to come in the second, probably the second or third or last third of the race. And it is, when it does come, it's going to be heavy. So you're probably thinking, I would suggest with all these, they're going to try and start on soft tyres, see how fast they can, or see how fast they can go, see how high they can start up, and then maybe switch to mediums to try and bridge that gap from the early part of the race to the latter part of the race. That's my best guess at the moment, as Montana and Simply are two to have lost a lap. They must have been validated because they're both into the pits early.
I'm hearing some bad news, everybody, at the moment. I did a weather test in Grand Prix mode using the options we ticked, and it gave me heavy rain at the end. According to the drivers, it doesn't quote that. So we're hoping that when they get on the grid and it gives you those 8 boxes, it is there. So hopefully it is there. I did a test with the weather settings. It was all good and well. So we can't really do anything about it. We just got to hope that it does come later on. So a further quali gone. We got a 33.5 from Alp, 33.6 from Dynastics, 33.9 from Dressé Bassin. I don't know if I'm wrong here, Jack, but I believe obviously it's got a lot of low speed exits which hurt the rear tyres, I think. I might be wrong.
It does. It does. So probably where you're looking to go, or a way to get around this might be to, in the race, run underfueled, because it's a very rear limited track, and maybe run in lean, going out of those apexes, or going out of those X's, because they will save your tyres, because there's a lot less stress going through the tyres. And that means that as a result of that, if there is a lot less stress going through your tyres, it means that obviously, you know, they'll be able to go a bit longer, and especially on soft tyres, that's going to be pretty key.
Hello everyone to the stream, welcome along to one of the most exciting races as Fruitful invalidates on the final corner, turn 23. Good evening, Alpha, Blaze, Spudhead, Elliot, Jaden, Carter, Kraft, everybody else. Chad, heard Montana moving to F1 Esports is involved in the Harden-Buckling deal. No, yeah, one race to go after this. It's been an incredibly long season. Oh yeah, Montana's great, by the way. Yeah, I was only joking. But I don't know the story. One more to go, and it's Cotter next week. Championship standings: Montana is leading by 48. So I believe, if my maths is correct, he would only need 5 points to win the title tonight, and that would be a 10th, 9th, 8th. It would be a 7th or an 8th for the fastest lap, if I'm correct. Jack, maybe you can help me there. Maybe.
My memory's not the best, to be perfectly honest.
I think you need 5 points. Alp.
Yeah, we'll work it out on TAS as well, because Tebow's effectively done the maths for us, hasn't he? So we'll obviously be able to keep you posted. I think it is 5 points. So this is a track, though, that can catch out the unwary and has upset the apple cart. Tracer in the Haas, for example, has... you know, he was one such driver to suffer. He didn't finish at all in EU2, and you know he's been one of the high flyers in EU2. I think 8 or 9 drivers failed to finish in EU3. There was issues last night as well in EU2 and AM2, sorry, and it's just one of those that it really is a war of attrition and will catch out even the best drivers. So with that in mind, I think you're going to be looking at certainly an unpredictable race.
Could you just have a quick look at TAS for me? I can't see anything on it. Here's the Alfa Romeo of Reset through turn 22, 23, crosses the line from 12, goes pole, 32.9 for the Alfa Romeo driver. I think there was a driver behind him in Simply. He's invalidated. Timmy, where to next? Singapore, sir, or America next week? He's... see, Singapore's really tricky. I don't know every corner off by heart. I believe that is... so this is
turn numbers, aren't they?
This is going to the bridge. So this is turn 12, down to 13. This is for tight apex. This will be a corner I need to remember, because I have seen some overtakes attempted in that corner. Sometimes they go well, sometimes they don't. 14 is a DRS zone. There's a flat straight where you can use some battery before that point, and that's where the sector time ends as well, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Then we route around 16, 17 towards the tunnel. Probably be amazing to sit in there, wouldn't it? All the cars go past. There's 19. Right angled 20. Another right angled to the left 21. And Tim is probably going to go into a pit. So no, he was just short shifting out of the corner. DRS coming up, and he's going to cross the line. Timmy goes 9th. He's in a McLaren. We know what Jack thinks about the McLaren gang.
We're a great bunch.
I do say so myself.
Now I've got that bias out of the way. No, it's a decent lap. Carlsberry's retired from the session already. So I see Crash going into the pits because his car's not moving.
That looks on the line. If I'm being honest.
Who's going past? He's binned it. I've just seen it. It's
there's Rowan.
Oh
jeez. Oh dear.
It's not really, not a crash you'll want to write home about, really, is it?
Jeez Louise, Carlsberry.
I don't quite know how he's gone in there, but I think if he was just starting a lap, he would have been just starting a lap. He's 6th, but he's only on a 1 minute 34.1. It's not really going to cut the mustard. That's going to set him back quite far. But I suppose all it does, though, is open up the strategy. I mean, if you're Timmy's capable of faster than 35.1. I've seen it so myself.
Cut the mustard.
So, yeah.
Have we got TAS sorted?
TAS is no, it's still not being initialised, so we're just going to have to do it ourselves for once.
Because Azerbaijan, we obviously used TAS amazingly well. We were able to track sector times in qualifying, but we'll just give it a good guess, and it might add to the suspense.
I tell you what, we're going to have to just work it out properly, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to have to do what they did in the olden days.
Yeah. What olden days are we talking about?
Well, even the last 3 decades, maybe we're going to have to be all Murray and James if you're happy to think so. But with none of this fancy timing lark, as we watch Dre Sebastian, who's not on a fancy timing lark, he's on a very decent lap now as he fires himself now into the final section. Coming out of the chicane now, he's just got the double left-hander, kisses the apex beautifully now. Double apex here, keeps the back end in check. And goes across the line, and it does improve. He's 3/10 faster. Doesn't get him up the ladder, but it gets him harder to catch, especially for the Renault of Rowan, who's just gone by on a 1 minute 33.8 to get into 6th place. A nice settler for the Dutchman.
Out goes Pole, 32.7, that's the quickest. Montana said he will do back to front next week if he secures the title, Carter. That's to answer your question. Vaporizer in the Mercedes, medium compounds. Jack said earlier in the session, will we see the top dogs in the championship run the medium tyre? At the moment, looks like Montana. They are. Well, how's Vaporizer doing? So he enters the tunnel. Wow! Got incredibly close to the left-hand side of the 18 wall, trying to push as far as he can wide over limits. Look how far they get to the wall. Even Alp did that and tapped the wall with his right end plate. Here's Vaporizer around the second to final corner, crosses the line. It's up to third, 33.2 on the mediums, brilliant just lap. Replaced by Dynastics on the softs.
That was a brilliant lap. Yeah, Vaporizer and Montana have got their work done on the mediums. That will allow them to go a little bit longer.
I still think the rain's coming, you know, if they've put the mediums on. I don't think they would have put mediums on if they didn't feel like the rain was coming. Just me, I don't know.
Yeah, but medium to hard did work for a lot of drivers a little bit further back in previous races. Myself, I wasn't quite quick enough to get up the grid and challenge further ahead, but it was worked in previous races. What it does is it gives you a lot more grip than your soft tyres after probably 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah.
You know, if you're on soft tyres, Cygate, for example, in the EU3, his tyres were done after 2 laps, after lap 2. He started dropping back at a rate of about 3 seconds a lap, and it's not sustainable on the soft tyres. So, unless you're really good at keeping them, mediums might just be the way to go. I think, Montana is just in the way of the pass of Yorno making a special guest appearance. I think Yorno, I've just checked now, he might well be. Well, he was on. Yeah, he's on the in lap, so that's not a problem. Nothing doing there.
So it's CDR, and if you remember from Azerbaijan last week, he had a great race. He was a new driver, still is, and he unfortunately got brake checked by his teammate. And I don't know if any of you know, some of you will, but who was it? Askikome got disqualified after the race by the stewards, so it was a completely unnecessary thing to happen, and CDR had to drop a place to I think it was Jorno who came back.
Yeah, Jorno was on his comeback trial, wasn't he?
Yeah, he came after a break and got a magnificent 4th. Probably should have got 5th with CDR in 4th, but it doesn't really matter. So CDR put a really good performance in Azerbaijan. On board with him now on the mediums, down to turn 14, and let's see if he can have another good race. Both street circuits, both quite tight. This one, in my opinion, just a little bit tougher.
It is.
And it's a longer race, Jack. If rain comes, we could be expecting easily a 50-55 minute race tonight.
Yes, with Baku as well, you get quite a bit of respite in the 1st and 3rd sectors. It's 2 miles of accelerating in the 3rd sector, and then you're going back around to get back to the old castle section, so you've got a lot of respite. Here you don't have that. You've got this short start straight, you've got the run into turn 14 to complete the 2nd sector, and you've got turn 5 into turn 7, and that's mostly the acceleration zone, but you've still got to be awake and turn the car, so you don't really get much time to switch off. Certainly these drivers won't consider that taxing, but lesser folks like myself may well do so. It's certainly claimed a lot more unaware drivers. Now, I'm just looking for somebody who's on a lap. Simply isn't. He's currently 3.5 seconds after his time. CDR might well be on a lap though.
He's just cancelled, I think. Here's Charlie is on a lap. We're on the final corner in the pink Racing Point. You can't miss it under the lights. Charlie goes 8th, quickest of the medium runners so far. The timer in the top left is a little bit out, so I started the timer for qualifying on my phone. So I believe it's 2 minutes and 20 to go.
Okay. So Charlie there is the quickest currently on the mediums. Obviously, we do need to remember that Vaporizer and Montana got their work done on the medium tyres. Their best laps were also done on medium tyres. Whereas Charlie now, third of the medium runners and probably third of the mere mortals too, I think it's fair to say, on those medium tyres.
Got a problem, Jack, here. Fruitful
Which
is at turn 13. He's invalidated. He can't go back into a pit, so he's got no time to come back out. He's not going to lap in. He's got one more attempt. He's on the softs, not what you want to be on. Is Fruitful in trouble here?
Not yet.
Well, he's been burning these tyres. Like, he's been pushing as quick as he can. There's only 1 minute 30 left on the timer. Apparently.
They're not going to be at the best, but
he's run out of his battery.
He's quick enough. He'll just about get around battery. Battery won't be a problem into the first corner, to be honest. It'll lose him half a tenth. I think he's, now he's in trouble.
He invalidated this and next. And there's only 1 minute 10 on the timer. Oh dear. Second place in the championship. He wanted to take it to America. He's starting probably 19th. Oh dear.
Yeah, now he's in trouble. There's no real words I can say to really sum that up. He was just in a bit of a rush. And when you are struggling,
did he need to be in the rush though? I mean, on my timer it's 40 seconds left.
I think the Haas driver there may well be in a bit of strife. Because Yorno, he was just coming up behind, Calzo that is, on the medium tyres, he was coming up behind Yorno, and Yorno just flatly got in his way. So I suspect there's going to be some retribution there, and that's not quite Calzo's best lap. 34.2 puts him 13th, but I would suggest he might go on another run.
Simply as a 10th up. I believe it's 15 seconds on the timer. Conzo might just make it through. Where are Vaporizer and Montana? They're just going across the line now, so they've timed it well. 7 seconds until checker flag, and everyone now, including Conzo, has crossed the line. There's a Racing Point who's just passed now. I'm not sure if he passed it in time. Final laps of quali. And the two Mercedes have opted to go out on the softs. What might be interesting if one of them invalidates. Normally we have a big red screen on task to do that. I've just seen an end plate flying down the boulevard, and it might be Risa. It is Risa, so Risa's not going to improve on that time. So we've got to try and track who's closest to the line here. I believe Stinson is going to be first.
Williams have gone ammo on soft tyres. He's the closest to the line.
Well, here's Stinson. Was 6th, goes 5th. Here's Rowan round the final corner. Was 9th place, goes 5th place. Pushes Stinson down to 6th. Another Williams is next. That's Donna Mo probably. Here it is, 17th. He crosses the line, only 15th. Alpha Tauri next is Sorensen. He needs to get a lap in here. Go 7th fastest. Not too bad. McLaren next. Is it Dynastics or Alp? I think it's none of them actually.
It's Timmy. It's Timmy. He goes 16th on a 1 minute 34.2.
Very good spot. Vaporizer is not next. It'll be Montana, his teammate, who's not invalidated. Round turn 21. Here's the two Mercedes. Are they going to lock out the front row as they have done for probably half of the season? Here's Montana. He does go pole. Can Vaporizer do anything about it? He's going into the pits.
Everton team player. He's fitted.
Calzo's going into the pits. Haas is crossing the line. Jono stays the same. Someone else goes into the pits. That might be quali over.
Yeah, that is. Conzo crossed the line on 1 minute 35. I suspect he might be having a word with some stewards there, because on his best lap, there's no question, Jorno got in his way. So there's not really much he can do about it now, but without question, he was hampered on his best lap when those medium tyres were at the freshest. He starts 18th. Probably not as bad as Fruitful, how Fruitful feels. 19th, soft tyres burnt up. He might, I'd suggest he's probably got a
medium.
fresh set of soft tyres.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But it's a difficult one. Some might decide to go for soft hards, which is one way to go, if you've got the pace to do so. I would suggest people might well try the medium hard tyres, just simply because that you've got more options. You're a lot less vulnerable to an early-ish safety car. But yeah, Konzo suffering quite badly there.
Fruitful is last with no time. I'll tell you what now, if he gets on the podium, what an interview that will be. He's got a very long way to go. It's very hard to overtake here. Fruitful's got work to do. Montana's on pole. Is it going to be a boring race? Probably, but not for everyone else. I mean, Alpy's P2 here. Let's not forget that. Risa Dynastics, Vaporizer 5th place. Rowan Stinson 6th, 7th. Sorensen's 8th. Dressé Basson in 9th. Everyone below the top 10 could, of course, choose the medium tyre. I'm hoping that on the driver's weather report, when we're on the grid, it does say heavy rain in the last column. That's what it said for me when I did the test. I'm hoping that's
Certainly
the case.
What it said for us when we did the test, didn't we?
I mean, you know, it's up to Formula One. I believe that the weather system works the same. So if you put light cloud, overcast, heavy rain on any mode at 50%, it should do exactly the same. When I did my league and I did custom weather, I had to test it all for each circuit. So we've been a bit shafted there. There isn't heavy rain to come. But hopefully there is, and either there isn't. It's Singapore. Anything can happen. Is Fruitful going to do a master plan? Oh no, that's Ferrari. Master plan. We'll keep it English. Vaporizer, aka Bottas, will probably help Montana, aka Hamilton tonight. Or James Vowles. Who knows? Yeah, but thank you everyone for tuning in. Great viewership again. I know it's not on Twitch. I wish it was. We're trying to sort it out with Twitch. They're not being very cooperative. So Jack, let's say you saw that rain was coming just towards the end. What would you do to your setup in qualifying?
Usually you'd change a lot. With Singapore, you're going to be running high or heavy downforce anyway. But you certainly would soften the suspensions and raise the ride height a little bit. That'll make the car a little bit less likely to aquaplane, which is a big problem where the wheels and the tyres contact with the ground through water, so they can't clear the water. What a higher ride height does is stop that being a problem. I don't know about you. Are you getting a glitch? Because the time has expired, but I'm not seeing anything in terms of a circuit map.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's just a glitch, but everyone says he's giving me reaction as if it is a lobby glitch. If that's the case, we'll change the weather to make sure it rains. And if that means the heavy rain comes 10 minutes in, we'll do that. Because we're going to have to get it sorted. Because obviously it's not here and we want to see the rain. I believe it is a lobby glitch, everybody. Oh no! Luckily I do have the quality grid on the YouTube, which is great. We will reduce the rain by 1 block. If it comes super early, don't blame us. Right, let's back out.
Let me just see.
No,
if
we're
I
definitely
jump
going.
out, no, if I jump out.
Oh.
We're there. We're there. I think.
I don't think so. No one's moving. Oh, wait. Are we going? No, I think. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Martin Bundo reactions. Oh, ooh.
Right, so it's not the most conventional of formation laps, I think it's fair to say, but we are all moving.
Are we all moving?
All drivers do appear, including Fruitful at the back in the Williams and Konzo, all appear to be moving. Now, let's just have a little look here at what they're doing in terms of strategy. So, you take us through the grid, I shall load up the tyres. Now we've finally got a race going. Right. So, take us through the grid, Limmy, and tell us how they start for the viewers if they can't already see.
Well, I'm sure we can see, and we went through the end of the quali stuff while Jack sorts whatever he needs to. Those are the tyres there, Jack, and it's not everyone on fresh tyres because we didn't get a restart. Yay!
We did not. So, from 11th downwards, we've got nobody on soft tyres, so rather unsurprisingly. CDR in the Ferrari is on fresh mediums. Yorno in the Haas this evening is on hard tyres, fresh hard tyres, so he's probably planning to get a safety car maybe midway through the race and switch to medium tyres when he'll be a little bit further up. Carlsberg in 13th in the AlphaTauri on mediums alongside Simply Rush, Calzo and Timmy Weretu next in the second McLaren. Dynamo in the Williams and Conzo in the Red Bull along with Fruitful, the championship protagonist, all on hard tyres. Just take you through the top 10 now. Soft tyres for Montana, Alp, Reset, Dynastics, Vaporizer, Rowan, Stinson, Sorensen, Dre Sebastian and Charlie on medium tyres and Vaporizer on medium tyres. Those are all going to be on older tyres because they qualified on those, so there's going to be 3 laps on those, and I'm telling you 3 laps on these soft tyres around this track is a lot of wear. They'll probably be about 15 to 17% I would suggest on those soft tyres.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am not going to lie, I always get nervous with Singapore because we have so much responsibility to keep up with what's going on, and firing through 19 drivers along a tight 5.06 kilometre circuit, having a 55-minute race probably with safety cars, it's just going to be chaos. Montana is basically, he's got a free track here if he pulls away to try and bring home that championship. Fruitful has some mega work to do. But I'm so excited. I hope you guys are too. We've waited 21 weeks. I hope you're ready. It's time for the Singapore Grand Prix. Lights down, away we go. Montana gets away well. So does Alf, so does Risa. And the Alfa Male alongside the McLaren as we head to turn 1. 3 wide, 2 Renaults, McLaren. And there's contact between one of the Renaults. And Rowan is spinning to the left-hand side as we leave turn 3 now. Alp Dynastics, Stington, P3 to 5. Sorensen, Vaporizer, Charlie, up 2 for Cowsbury. Up 4 for Fruitful, good start. We head down the boulevard. Chaos for Rowan at the back.
Yes, so what happened was he got sandwiched. He and Dynastics and the other Renault sandwiched the McLaren of Alf. It was a really poor start for Alf. He just must have bogged down or something, it looked like. But he was on the inside and his teammate was closing on the outside. So when he turns in and washes out, Alf couldn't really go anywhere. And so I think there's a crash for Vaporizer. Vaporizer spun off at the back.
Oh
no! His medium tyre's gone. Looks undamaged, but the race is bruised, I would say, for the Flying Dutchman in the Mercedes. But yeah, what happened was simply McLaren was sandwiched one way. It reminded me a bit of the Istanbul Grand Prix, what happens at Ocon. And just simply, the car on the inside this time just lost all rear grip as and when Alp tried to turn back out. Obviously, Dynastics was on his outside, so he can't really go any further.
So Rowan, Vaporizer set going to the back. Reset Alpha swap. Dynastics, one of the only ones on the grid who haven't changed. Stinson, Sorensen, Dressay Basson, all up 2. Up 5 for Cowsbury on the mediums in the AlphaTauri. What a start. Up 4 for Calzo in the Red Bull P11. CDR has gained a place in P10 in the Ferrari. It was a long lap, 1 minute 42 worthy, but we're on to lap 2 of 31, and someone is going into the pits already, I believe, and I believe it's Pink.
It's Charlie. So Charlie must have had damage. We've now got Taz back up, so we can see it's heavy damage on his front left wing. Rowan has some slight damage to his right front wing. It's 6%, so it won't be doing him any harm, and he won't be pitting as a result of that. In fact, he is back up into 15th now, so he's a man on a mission on those soft tyres early doors.
Fruitful is making good progress. He's up 7 places to P12 already. But he would have to finish above Montana if Montana was to not finish first to keep the championship going. The gap at 46 or 48, check that in a second. We route round, what turn is that? I believe it's turn 9 with Timmy where to next, and on board with Fruitful. Back to the front, Dynastics putting pressure on Alp. Thought he was going to make a move into turn 13 there coming out of a bridge, but didn't do so. Montana's pulling away a little bit of the front, 1.3 gap to be expected. And I'm just going to keep an eye on Fruitful every now and again, Jack, because he's making good moves early on.
Understood. I think the cork in the bottle is unfortunately Alp. Unfortunately, I say, for the race as far as everybody else is concerned, because it's letting Montana get away. Reese is keeping him honest, but there's a 1.5 second gap between Alp and Reese. Alp, meanwhile, has cars four cars within 1.6 seconds of him. So certainly a difficult start for the AM1 regular and race winner.
I think Rowan might have had an accident again. No, it's simply he's come out of a final chicane. Number 2 racing points. Oh dear, Opnar, Safnar is not going to be happy. Both his pit cars at the back. DRS is on for lap 3. We'll go on board with Fruitful. Actually, we'll just check Dynastics really quickly, depending on his exit without, because he's out of DRS. Yes, we'll stay with Dynastics because he might be able to make a move down the boulevard into turn 7 here. Stays behind. Where's Fruitful? A 10th going left-hand side of Giorno. Here's another move from Fruitful. He's up into 11th on lap number 3 of 31. Long way to go, but a good start from Fruitful.
Yeah, Alba's lost a lot of ERS. He's at 30%, whereas Dynastics is around 60%. So I don't think it's going to stay in that order for much longer, because Dynastics is clearly happier on this set of tyres. Simpson behind is going to keep a watching brief. If you're in the middle of the train, what you would tend to do is try to just keep your nose out of trouble, because if the 2 cars ahead battle each other and slow each other down, then is your opportunity to attack. It's not happening at the moment because Alp is just about holding the line. But when Dynastics is in a position to go side by side, that's when Stinson may pick up some pieces, I think it's fair to say.
I don't know if Giorno is slow, but Fruitful is losing time to Calzo. It might be the medium softening. I'll flip the tyres in a second. I've just kept the position changes on. How crazy is that? Vaporizer is 15th. Wait, is he legit 15th, or it says he's lapped? Oh, Alp says nope, soft tyres are done. I'm in the pits at the end of lap 4. 3? Is that 3?
Yeah. So difficult to know whether he goes on to hard tyres. If he does go on to hard tyres, they're going to be very slow towards the end, but it's not unheard of that people have got tyres this far along. In fact, he has put on hard tyres. What he's going to try and do is undercut. Eventually, those softs will go, and when they go, you know about it. He's got 3.5 seconds to find on Montana. He's got about 1.5 seconds to find on Reese. But what he's also doing is he's out with a lot of clear air, which means that he can just get the hammer down, push his tyres for a little bit, and then as and when it starts to settle back in, he can then just go back to nursing them, which he is going to need to do quite a lot of. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he runs in lean going out of the traction zones in the middle of the second sector.
So Cowsbury's past Dressé Basson, P5 for him, and we're on board with Ferrari CDR, who's been looking very close at Dressé Basson's gearbox. Those mediums now making moves against the soft tyres. They are dying. Fruitful 9th place, leader gap 10.9, but he's on the hards and can take him for a while on board. I saw those flashing lights last year in a commentary, and I said, is that a speed camera? But it's not, it's just for fans with their phones. I'll never forget that moment. Into the tunnel, CDR really wants to get past Dressé Basson now. We're staying on board so we can see exactly what he's doing. He's got a very small DRS zone down to turn 1 coming up. Maybe he can use it. Let's see. Might see Dressé Basson coming into the pits. Maybe Simpson, yep. And here is CDR. Has he got enough room to burn that DRS? No, he's going to wait down the boulevard after turn 5.
So, soft tyres really are the slowest on the track. Carlsbury, it's all surprising to me if he's now the fastest man on the track, because those medium tyres are going to be giving him good grip for at least another 5 or 6 laps. They're not great, but they will last a lot longer. Whereas soft tyres really go about as quickly as cheap chewing gum that you buy from the petrol garage. CDR makes his move down the inside, and well, Drace is holding on. Now Drace is just about off the track, but he hangs in there. He knows he's got to slow down the charge of medium tyres.
Oh, the Red Bull's coming out of nowhere. Calzo around the outside gets a double move. I love that. Could be big later on. Dressé Basson, Jack, you were right, but we were just tussling wheel to wheel. Great racing, but Calzo thought, nah, I'm going past.
I think there might be some damage to that Ferrari.
Really?
Yeah,
no.
It's what I said earlier on. If you're in the middle behind 2 cars battling here, you're best off staying well out of it. I just want to check something. I think that Ferrari has got... No, he's all intact. It's all okay, but he's just got a bit of a damaged ego. I think it's fair to say very close there to Dracer. No reason for Dracer to give this up easily, mind.
Absolutely not, as we head around the tunnel section very shortly. What a good midfield battle these are giving us.
So IFR Sorensen, when he pitted, he put on medium tyres. Now, he, Stinson and Rowan have all done the same trick. That means that they will be committing to a two-stop. And what they're hoping to do is they're hoping to get away. They're hoping to get past the McLaren and get away. Montana, meanwhile, is the only man to stay out as Reese Dynastics and Dracer all pit. They've all had enough of those soft tyres, and they'll be hoping to get onto the hard tyres and go to the end, which have got a lot bigger chance of doing than Alp, who's obviously pitted so early in the race.
So, down the boulevard, on board with Fruitful, who is now into P5, of course not pitted, but those hards still look little bit shiny, so we're not doing too bad. Fruitful looking for a hard to medium jack, potentially, if there is a safety car at the right time later on as well. Not quite sure how many laps each tyre can do. I haven't done many commentaries on Singapore. But let's see. He's doing well so far. He's got a Ferrari in front who will want to get past if he can. Showing good pace on the hards is Fruitful, Mr. Prentice.
Yeah, mediums are good for probably about 15, 16 laps, but hard tyres can really go quite far into the race. If you stop early, say lap 4, lap 5, then you've got a good chance of getting them to the end. What Fruitful's doing here on his hard tyres is, he's actually starting to catch Montana. I don't think he's going to mean so much at the moment, but when you get to a point maybe sort of 10, 12 laps from the end, if you put on medium tyres, he'll have a fresh set of those, and that means that he'll be able to, from there, get after Montana or get after the cars ahead for a bit of a longer period of time, because the wear rate's obviously a lot less. There's a lot less load going through the tyres, which is particularly important here at such a tyre-eating track. And I think he's going to be good for at least good points, unless the safety car falls right for him, in which case it could be even better.
So, Brian, just to reply to you about the camera changes, at the start of a race it's very important that I get to see what everyone's doing precisely and not using the outside view too much. So that's why you see a lot of onboards with me. Other commentators don't do it too much, but I do. I like to see what's going on inside the car and behind the gearbox. But now we've settled down a bit, you'll see more external, and you'll see the onboards when we go closer for overtakes, i.e. Sorensen behind Montana now, because he's just got past. Montana opting for the hards. Will that get into the end, Jack? Or
yes.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah, 100%. They'll get you to the end from anywhere from the end of lap 4, really. You could probably hope to get them to the end. They'll do a bit of nursing towards the end, but that's nothing that Montana isn't used to. He certainly did a very good job of it in Baku, especially with those ever-wearing soft tyres. And it all depends now on how quickly he clears the cars ahead. He's got Sorensen behind. Sorensen's got nothing to lose. He's got a 3-second penalty, so he can't really afford to be wasting time behind a slower driver or a quicker driver on much slower tyres, as is often the case here. So you've got Stinson. Reese has just about held on to Alp as well, so Alp's gamble hasn't really worked. It's not hurt him, but it's not worked.
Yeah.
You've got Stinson ahead, then Stinson and Sorensen. They really do need to get on with this, because
so they just need to match Montana then, is that what you're saying? Or?
They need to pass him, really. They need to pass him, because otherwise they're going to get stuck behind someone who's guaranteed to not be going, not to be pitting unless he hits a wall. These are guaranteed to be pitting. You lose about 30 seconds here because it's such a slow pit stop and such a slow pit lane that you really can't afford to be stuck behind someone any longer than you have to.
Yeah, that's very fair point. We're on to lap 8 of 31. Very long way to go. No safety cars or VSC just yet. There was some drama on Lights Out with Vaporizer and Rowan getting sent to the back of the grid. Now we're seeing the people who there's only one who's 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 people that started on the hards earlier on move up the grid, and the people who started on the softs have made their pit stop wheel to wheel. Sorensen and Montana down out of turn 7. Montana survives this time. I didn't quite see it. I was looking at the grid. He's just ahead of Sorensen, and that's just delaying, and as Jack said, he needs to get past.
It's risk-free reward for the Mercedes. He's obviously got a very good position, not just in the race, but in the championship. But he can't afford to lose too much time getting passed by these drivers, because even for the fastest, even for the best, it's a bit of a psychological thing. Once you lose 2 places in a row, you lose rhythm, you lose focus, and it's very difficult to get that back for a good 2 or 3 laps. I don't think he's under threat here, because he's got plenty of DRS should he need it. But so does Sorensen. Stinson not so much, but Sorensen does have plenty to play with as well. So, going to be evenly matched going down into the boulevard, I feel.
Yes, absolutely. Fruitful's gained on CDR at the front. That gap is 0.6 of a second. We'll go to that in a minute as they route themselves round to turn 5. It's turn 1 at the moment. So we're just on board with Montana's gearbox, tracking Sorensen and Stinson behind. Nothing's happening, so we'll flip to Fruitful and we'll go on board with the Williams driver as he's going to try now and get past CDR in the Ferrari into P3 without losing too much time down the boulevard. Max DRS, Max DRS stays behind. Fruitful, you could have gone for it. Where's the Williams master plan?
Difficult one, because it's a corner where the car on the outside holds all the cards. If he can stay rather level, then, you know, he can clamp the inside, he can stop the run there, and he's got the inside into the following corner.
Oh, sorry to butting Jack Montana Sorensen into turn 8, and there's a bit of a wheel-to-wheel action. No damage for either of them. Montana comes back really well with a switcheroo on the inside. This is getting serious.
Going into the Singapore Slim now, and Stinson starting to look interested. Montana can't play this too risky. He's normally very good at risk management, but he is and can be quite ruthless. Now, he needs to make sure that he doesn't mess himself up. I think Sorensen's pulling over. Why is he pulling over for Stinson?
Maybe he finds that he's quicker. I don't know. Fruitful's into P3, got past the Ferrari.
Yeah, eventually going into turn 14, I would wager. Certainly something that he needs to get done. Yorno now stuck behind Timmy. Timmy's doing a rather good job in that McLaren. If he can get surprisingly...
Oh! Who is that? Oh, I thought it was Montana. It was Sorensen, who's out in the tunnel, raining 10 minutes, I'm being told. And that's a safety car in Singapore. I'm sorry about the scream. I thought it was Montana. It wasn't. It was Sorensen. Still isn't great. I didn't see what happened. I think it was on screen. I was looking at TAS. Oh, that scared me for a moment.
I didn't see what happened either. Dynamo's got damage, so's Rowan. They're both coming in. Dynamo's Dynamo was hit by Rowan going into the pits. I would suggest that the Williams reserve is going to get that removed. Oh no, he isn't, because he's going to serve it, isn't he, when they put on the wet or intermediate tyres. If you've got rain in 10 minutes, that's probably lap 15. That's slightly earlier than we thought it was going to come.
Just have a quick look at
why 2 or 3 drivers started on hard tyres. No one's come in. I would suggest Carlsbury, Calzo, maybe even Fruitful, CDR, Vaporizer and Timmy. I'm not going to say they've got a free pit stop, because if they pit now, they'll move themselves a bit higher up than what they thought they were going to move themselves up, because it is a slow pit lane, but it's a slow safety car pace. You do that, you have to slow down by 40%. So if they do stop, they'll be on fresher tyres when the rain does come. They'll have better grip as and when the rain does come, and it puts them in better position. So let me just see. Alp now. Alp's again going to be one of the biggest losers, because he's 12. He's going to have a delay if Timmy pits, which Timmy logic would say would do, and he's going to get held up. Let's see who pits now. Carlsbury's making for the pits. So Carlsbury's in. Oh, just about gets in. Calzo's in. Fruitful is not in. So Fruitful reckons he can go a bit longer on these hard tyres. So does CDR. I don't know why CDR isn't pitted, because those medium tyres will be giving up the ghost pretty soon anyway. Yorno on hard tyres doesn't pit. That's fair. Conzo doesn't pit. Simply doesn't pit. Vaporizer does pit. He might go on to medium tyres, or I'd say medium tyres. I would be surprised if it wasn't. Montana and Risa do not pit. Nor does Alp. So it's shaking the order up a little bit, but it kind of puts them closer together for Montana. It'll be vulnerable if the quicker medium drivers, including Vaporizer and Carlsbury, get through. Timmy's gone to hard tyres. I'm not sure I'd go with that, but he's going to have a bit more grip than certainly the cars ahead.
Yeah, sorry I wasn't speaking. I was just having a look at the footage. Someone said in the chat Montana might have given some damage. He didn't, and it was nothing to do with that incident. From the view that I had, Montana and whoever it was behind him went through. It was an Alpha, and then literally Sorensen just came flying in. It's like his car wouldn't even turn. Way too quick for a corner and straight into the wall. I do apologise for the screen, by the way. It's like stepping on Lego. Yeah, it probably was. I seriously thought it was Montana, because the moment I looked at the screen, a Mercedes went past. So that's why. But it wasn't.
I must say it did come as a bit of a surprise. So
what's happening now, Jack? Because I haven't really been watching.
The safety car is out and just catching the rest of them. Maybe? No, not really. No. Well, depends really how you don't know this until
the rain's coming soon, maybe. So maybe staying out, but good.
Well, the rain, it was said in 10 minutes. It's 6.5, 7 laps that under normal racing speed, but under safety car speed, you know, it's probably going to be 2.5 minutes a lap, so probably less than 4 laps. I mean, those hard tyres are going to be dreadful. Don't get me wrong, they're going to be absolutely dreadful. They're a pig to get warm.
We're doing another lap. That lap, by the way, is 2 minutes and 25 seconds. And if it comes in...
far away, was I?
But if it comes in, by the way, Fruitful can take an extra 20, 30 seconds to go as slow as he wants. So this lap could be up to 3 minutes here.
It could be, and what that means is that brings the rain just a bit closer. Every second that safety car's out there,
clouds
that
rain
gets a bit closer, and that means he's effectively jumped the field. Now, whether or not the tyres hang on when the rain gets here, he might be slower then, but his rivals on hard tyres.
Yeah.
So are 2 of the 4 cars that haven't stopped behind him. I'm surprised Simply hasn't pitted. I'm even more surprised that Ferrari didn't pit, because CDR, even if he had pitted, would probably have come out, I would say, probably 9th or 10th.
There's a lot of questions why...
Absolutely,
yeah, there's a lot of questions why Stinson pitted as well. Also, when the safety car comes in, we've got to wait until the 3rd lap, until DRS. So it's going to be tricky to overtake early on.
If you've got a significant pace advantage, you can negate that, but...
You're going to have to go wheel to wheel in spaces you don't want to go, though, aren't you? In some areas, like Montana and Sorensen.
Like here into the hairpin.
Yes.
I mean, Montana would not have been sitting comfortably. I'm a bit surprised as to why Stinson's pitted. I can't understand it. Dynamo, I would suggest, might want to pit again if the safety car doesn't come in, because he's got a penalty to serve. So is Rowan. I'm surprised that those 2 chaps haven't pitted. I'm surprised nobody's gambled on softs if we know that the rain is on its way. If you pit in now, you may as well give yourself a short, sharp burst. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you've got yourself a bit of track position, because soft tyres are going to be freakishly fast. But looks like the safety car's in, because Fruitful is backing the pack up. And now it's pretty much on his whistle, Limmy.
It is on his whistle. And just had a quick drink, just in case something happens and we have to extend our voice box again, or overuse it, shall we say. But Mylander is nearly into the pit lane in his safety car. Fruitful's in charge of a restart. Is he going to go on the corner? Is he going to go early? No, he's going to go early. Absolutely gone, and a good getaway from him too. CDR, John Oconzo, all rooting round the final corner. There's been an incident on the turn 19, and Stinson's had a problem with one of the cars as we route down to turn 1. The Red Bull of Conzo ahead of Simply Rush. Montana's still ahead of Reese and the Alpha. Dynastics and Alp as they all squitter around turns 1, 2 and 3. Everyone's clean out apart from the Alfa Romeo at the back.
I haven't got any information as to why and how Stinson came to be there. What I can say though is that's an excellent restart from Fruitful. Those tyres are gripping a lot better than the old mediums. CDR is now 1.5 seconds back already, and he is a massive cork in the bottle.
CDR and Konzo having a look at each other out at down at 7. Nothing doing. Montana stays 6 fast. I'm going to say 6 fastest then, quality. Dynastics out Calzo, completing the top 10. Vaporizers into 11th place there. The Cowsby in the AlphaTauri. We're heading to the tight section and the bridge. Timmy 13th, Tresse Batten 14th. Fruitful ahead by 1.7 seconds. Exactly what the Williams driver needed.
So what's interesting here is that if Fruitful can scamper away, then he's going to build up quite a big buffer, and all the time this gives him a bit more of a chance as and when the rain comes out, because he's got a bit more of a safety barrier. These medium runners are going to have now no choice but to stay out until that weather comes in. If that weather comes in too late, they'll be gone, they'll be buggered, because what will happen is the rears will burn up and they're just going to lose time hand over fist, finger over fist, I would suggest. It's already 2 seconds now. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that extends to maybe 3.5 seconds now. But he's at the point of no return. That CDR and that's Rush, Simply Rush, are both at the point of no return. The problem for Montana is you're in a gaggle now where you've got a lot less grip than a lot of the cars ahead, but there's a lot of cars ahead in a very short space of track. There's a lot of cars ahead.
Charlie. So, yeah, you're right, sorry.
Either, is it? So there's no room for him to manoeuvre. He's got to be very careful.
So coming out of turn 5 again, no DRS until the next lap. I think there's someone making an overtake here. I'm still getting used to this broadcaster. Someone said use the broadcaster, but I'm trying my best. Calzo P10 behind Alp, then comes Calsby. He was looking down the inside, Calzo giving room, but unfortunately there is nowhere to go. Fruitful's got a 2.6 gap, not too bad at all. Lap 14 of 31. Where is that rain, Senor Jeff?
So Fruitful's going to get most of his work done in the final sector, because that's a lot of point and squirt, and it's the rears that are going to suffer here the most. CDR's already lost 3/4 of a second this lap, so it's probably going to be about 3.5 by the time he crosses the line. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Fruitful's only 2 or 3 tenths off of his best lap, so he's got plenty of life in those tyres. Same with Yorno, same with Konzo. They've got plenty of life in those tyres, but the mediums, they are going to be rather more tired, I must say. It's 3.1 seconds. It's going to be a lot of problems now in this final complex, where you really do need to lean on the front tyres and ensure that the rears grip as well.
Look at that, Jack. I've never seen anything like it in Singapore. Leader gap from second to last, 3.2 to 11. 17 cars separated by 8 seconds. It's crazy. It's like an esports race at this moment, just with Fruitful pulling away, which is exactly, I keep saying it, what he needs to do, but I don't know what that's going to mean later, because he's going to have to make a pit stop, and Montana may not have to, so we'll see. There's a long way to go. We're not even halfway there yet. There is a Mercedes in the pits.
Yeah, Vaporizer's pitted. I think he hit Strife on the previous lap. It looks like he caught a bit of damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see your point, but
Montana's
if we know
free, Jack. One more.
So if we know the rain's on its way, then he nearly lost the back end.
Charlie's retired.
That is, he looks like he's in cahorts with somebody else as well.
It's a VSC. Everyone's going to slow down and follow the Delta, maintain their positions, whilst the stewards, stewards? No, the marshals clear up the racing point. Not been a good night for Charlie. Both racing points were last at one stage as well, so it's time for everyone to calm down.
Vaporizer appears to have crashed into something as well.
But a completely different place though. That was at the start of turn 5. I
can only think he's ran wide and maybe got
on a VSC.
I don't know. It's an interesting place to return, unless there's a glitch.
Or maybe he said, right, there's a VSC, but I retire now, it's all fine, it won't cause anything.
Yeah, I don't think that was the case. It'd be found out fairly quickly.
The VSC has just been gone green right outside the tunnel, and I bet that caused a bit of confusion as well. I don't see any overtakes benefiting from it. Still a car centipede from turn 22 back to 20. And
Fruitful. It was just as he was getting on the power out of the exit of the tunnel section over the Anderson Bridge, so he's gained himself 2 or 3 tenths as a result of that from CDR, who's becoming, I think it's fair to say, a bit of a roadblock.
A little bit. I think Jono will definitely want to get past now. You said the mediums can do 15 laps. That's 15 laps now for CDR. So let's see, Jono, DRS, we'll go on board with the Haas. He's not burning his battery. I don't know why. If he would have burned his battery, surely he would have got past. No? Oh, there's been some overtakes behind. Sorry to flick through. No, people don't like it. Dynastics is in front of Simply, and Cowsbury is now in front of Alp, and now Alp separates Cowsbury and Cowzo.
So Simply is the other driver that's on dead or dying mediums, and he's paying the price of that. That's 3 places back now. Montana, Reese and Dynastics have all come through. Carlsbury's next to take up the challenge. Alpine 10th in the McLaren. That's not really made as much.
Montana damaged. Sorry, Montana went down on the inside of Konzo, and Konzo couldn't get out of the way. He's hit the side of a bridge. Has he got damage?
Big damage. It looked like I saw a lot of M plate flying around.
Oh wait, was it Konzo or did I get the wrong person? No, they're both fine.
No, you didn't. You got Konzo. There was certainly some front wing flapping about though. Yeah, I certainly saw some front wing flapping about.
Oh well, I digress. Montana's into P4 now.
He is. I don't know whether the stewards will be looking at that because that's not a place that you traditionally overtake.
Yeah. Oh well, let's find out later tonight. I don't know when the incidents get done actually. Maybe it's a couple of nights or the same night.
They get done through the week.
Okay.
So the quicker they get them, obviously the quicker they can deal with them. Normally it's by the end of the week. We know exactly where we are going into the next race.
Well, a lot of people are saying that's going to be a penalty. They know the league more than I do. I just commentate over fast cars.
So they've seen it. Problem is, it's.
I got a helicopter cam view, so it's pretty everywhere. I got a whole view of. Is this for 2 Red Bulls going wheel to wheel? No, it's just Calzo getting ahead of Alp again, and there's been something at the front. Haas and Alfa Romeo going wheel to wheel. Helicopter cam here, hello. Renault's getting involved as well. Dynastics, who actually tips the back end of Jono, manages to not unstabilise his car too much. Montana's into P3, and he's got that roadblock you were talking about ahead. But CDR's doing well on those tyres. Oh, Montana's got damage!
Himself now.
He's got damage! The Mercedes driver, CDR's tyres are absolutely dead. Absolutely dead, and he had to brake a little bit earlier than usual. And now the Mercedes driver has damage. What is that going to mean for the next 15 laps of racing to come, including this one?
It's going to mean hideous understeer in the immediate future, as you can see already. A bit of impatience there. He's just coming into a DRS zone, and he doesn't really need to be getting anybody on the brakes there. And you can say he's been caught out, but you would know that the mediums are dead or dying. All he needs to do is get himself a much better exit. He's not going to pit at the moment, but all he needs to do is get himself a much better exit. He's going to be fine. This is also going to mean he's going to lose 5 or 6 seconds in the pit, and Reese is behind him. Reese is not a man that takes prisoners. Reese is
no, he isn't.
Not a man you want behind you if you've got a wounded car. He's a brilliant racer, but he's on the firm side, which is absolutely fine. But it's bad news for the Mercedes. He's just at the wall, isn't he?
Did I just get a glitch, or was that him hitting the wall? I don't know. No damage. Here comes Reeser. Is he going to do a Max Verstappen and go down on the inside? No, he is not. Is he going to go around the outside of turn 8? Thinks about it. No, he is not. Not quite getting his wheels out. And I can see rain on the halo, everybody. It's lap 18 of 31. It's all going down in Singapore now.
Okay, so the 2 people who are going to want a downpour are sat 2nd and 3rd. CDR's going to want to get off those mediums as soon as possible, and Montana's not going to want to spend any more time stuck behind the Ferrari or stuck with a damaged front wing. And it looks like he's going to do both for the foreseeable future because he can't get close enough. Oh yes, he can now.
What an exit!
He just used a bit of VRS, I think is all it was. Used a bit of VRS, a bit more power, and I think the Ferrari realised there are fights that you don't take on.
How quick? Well, the question is now, of course, we know we've all been in the race. Oh, Montana picked up a penalty. And don't forget, I don't want to sound like I'm against Montana. I love Montana. I hope he wins the championship. He fully deserved it. But he's got a penalty there. He's got a penalty that may be coming. He's got damage that he's going to have to fix in the pits because the rain is going to come too hard. Also, how quick is this rain going to wet the track? I think CDR's already going into a pits. Rain can come in 3 different ways. It can come slow, it can come okay, it can come really quick and wet the track. It looks like it's raining quite hard. I don't see people slipping too much yet. Just staying on board with
drivers have pitted already.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, research, yeah, slipping. I digress. Commentators' curses of VSC, and that's it. It literally helped everyone who entered the pits.
It's going to keep Fruitful for, you know, on plan A, because he built up a 10-second gap, and it's going to mean that he's not going to get into the barriers, and he's not going to lose any time.
I love this. This is brilliant. This is what racing's about.
This, I think, in the words of a famed commentator, is drama in the extreme, isn't it?
Yes.
You've got Rita and Montana.
Oh, Rita, he's going to go! Oh. This is so fun to watch. They can't drive. Montana can't go anywhere.
Fly down the inside. They can't control the cars.
This is amazing. I've never ever seen in over 300 commentaries anything like this. And I'm guessing these drivers, Jack, have traction control off.
It's like watching Bambi on ice with fat legs at the back.
They're going wheel to wheel and they can't even turn their cars. Oh, this is amazing. And the intermediate tyres, if we go on board with Dynastics, oh yeah, they're fine. They can drive. And they've nearly caught them up.
What it was. The rain's just came. The rain has just come, isn't it? And it has... I think there's Yorno's...
Where's Fruitful?
Oh, what's in strife out of turn 4. So Yorno's a man that's probably... not going to be wishing for heavy rain as it's come down.
Dynastics. So Fruitful should get out just ahead. Pit lane's quite long in Singapore. I'm talking 30 plus seconds. I'm not sure how much he's lost. Oh, here's Fruitful. Look at how gingy out of turn 20. I've never seen anything like it. Between two top class drivers. Can't even turn around a 90-degree corner at 50 miles an hour. Fruitful is now in the pits, and this is very, very important. Can he come out in front? Montana's struggling. Don't forget, the next car is Dynastics. Dynastics is coming out of the... He's just started the tunnel. Montana goes wide of the pit lane. He's going in now. It's a 3-second penalty for the Alfa Romeo of Risa. Fruitful's on his way out now. Dynastics is coming round the second to final corner. This is going to be so close. Fruitful's hit the... Fruitful's hit the white line. You're right, Montana has gone wet. Fruitful's just coming out of the pit lane now. He's going to stay ahead of Dynastics. Big up for the man who started last tonight, Dynastics Carzo Alp. And like Jack said, interestingly enough, the Mercedes driver has opted for the blue stripe tyre.
So what he's gambling on is the fact that this rain falls hard enough to totally wet the track. At the moment, it's not there yet. But he's thinking for payback in 2 or 3 laps' time, because he's obviously had to change his front wing. He's just thought, well, he's going to get delayed anyway. He might as well see if he can steal a march. He's 13th at the moment, but he might as well try and see if he can steal a bit of a march on those ahead who are on intermediates and may now need to come back in.
I'm looking at the rain. I know this is not heavy rain yet. You can see by how many droplets are dropping. But there's already a wet patch being formed. This is incredible. I've never ever seen, and I'm not talking about the rain, I'm talking about the bit before it. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen Montana and Risa, 2 world-class drivers, struggling that much.
So Yorno and retiring in the pits has automatically put wet tyres on, which would suggest to me that we're maybe not that far away. Fruitful and Dynastics.
But it's all judgment, isn't it, Jack? It's all judgment. You can't just go to wet tyre if it's heavy rain. It's about how wet the track is. That's what decides.
It's confidence. It's just picking when and where to make the switch.
Where's Montana now? That's 24.9. He's slowing down. His leader gap's dropping.
So he's 3 seconds a lap slower than Fruitful at the moment. What he's hoping is that this rain falls heavy enough so that it reverses, and when it does reverse, it reverses quite quickly. In the meantime, he's going to have to keep those wet tyres cool enough so that he doesn't chew them up. He might as well have gambled on, and I don't think we're far away, but yeah, this is going to be a 25-point swing, isn't it? Which, if my maths is correct, is...
Let's just hold our thoughts. Let's not get too carried away, because what we could be on here, I know what he's trying to allude to, everybody, could be a Cotter finale. Circuit of the America. I know what he wants, and do you know what? I want that too. But at the moment, we've got to be patient. It is not heavy rain fully yet. Looking at the droplets and the spray, the track is still perfect for intermediates at the moment. Some puddles are starting to form, but you might get to a point where you come 24-25, 30-second pit stop. Is it worth it? Can we survive? Should we go on the hards? Blah, blah, blah. Montana's leader gap at last lap was 24.9. It's now 33 seconds. Montana, someone said in the chat, 0 to hero. Which one is he going to be? At the moment, the Mercedes driver is in a lot of trouble, and I'm sure Fruitful will have the stream on as an Alfie Tauri gets twitchy. Cowsbury down the bridge, nearly smashes into Dressé Basson. Dressé Basson gets ahead. Everyone's twitchy. The track's getting wetter.
No rear grip. He has absolutely no rear grip. I'm going to try and take a look at his wet tyres to see where things are.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, starting on hard tyres has turned out to be an absolute masterstroke, isn't it? Yeah, he's a bit twitchy. That back end is... That's the problem. It's confidence. It's when he puts the foot to the floor.
Yeah.
It's what he's going to get in response to his back end. And at the moment, his back end is saying, "Nah, I'm not liking this. It's too dry. It's too hot. I'm getting too hot."
Yeah.
What happens is those big grooves move. They get hot and they move around and sludge a bit more. It's weird. It's weird. It's difficult to explain. But when they're moving around like that and melting away, it means that they're not propelling the car forward, they're propelling it, they're trying to propel it sideways, or they're just spinning up.
Cowsbury's got damage, buddy. Yep, so that's a pit lane with tyre
ments. He's retired. Bear in mind
he had
that,
damage.
Yeah, it's wet race though. And what he's done is just chuck away, there's likely to be a safety car.
There is, but he wouldn't make the overtakes, would he? If he's right behind everyone, everyone's in the same boat. Maybe. Maybe. Fruitful. So this is the man we're on board with here, and this is the man who is a great opportunity to get 25 points if he can pull this race off. This, can you find out what the last lap was from someone, Jack? Anyone?
I will certainly do my best. I'll let you continue to chat away.
I would guess it's about 1:55. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a 1 minute 51.9 for Fruitful. He's just about 4/10 faster than Dynastic. Dynastic's done a really good job, by the way. But he's just about 3/10 off of Fruitful. The good news for Fruitful as well is that all of the three drivers behind him have a 3-second penalty.
Yes.
He doesn't.
Very good point. That also brings CDR maybe in later. Yeah, so it's about 14 to 15 minutes of racing for Fruitful to master. To win this race, Montana at the moment is getting zilch. Fruitful's getting 25. So that means the finale would definitely be going to America. Stinson's got the fastest lap for somebody asking.
Montana pitted. He's now back on intermediate, but he's 70 seconds. 70 seconds back.
That's incredible.
That's just a gap like you wouldn't believe.
That's incredible.
He's quick, but he would need to take about 10 seconds a lap near enough. Probably 8 laps. No, 8 seconds a lap out of Fruitful. Montana's quick, but Fruitful's no mug either.
Oh no. Oh no, I wouldn't like to go toe to toe with Fruitful, that's for sure. Thank you for everyone in the stream tonight. A fantastic showing, loads of comments. Thank you so much. What a race this has been, and we're far from over. Another 15 minutes or so to go. Here's Stinson. No DRS, of course, in this weather. Is he going to have a go on Konzo? I think he's too far behind. And into turn 7, he's 9th place. Konzo, 8th place. Everyone's starting to maintain their gaps. Everyone's starting to settle into these conditions. The droplets look like it's now heavy rain. Whether the track gets wet enough for wet tyres, we'll find out. It's going to be... Jack, I don't know about you, but along with Canada and the things that happened there with the rain and the incident with Lights Out with the Mercedes leader, I just think this has been one of the best races of the season, and it's not even finished.
It's just kept us guessing, isn't it? Not really, apart from the first sort of 5 or 6 laps. We've been able to say with these certainty exactly where people are when it shakes out. I mean, Alt has been second, he's been third, he's been 13th, and he's now 4th.
Yeah.
Fruitful was last. He was down and out.
Yep.
He was 12th.
Yep.
He was 8th.
Then 5th. Yep.
Then he was 5th. Now he's 1st.
Yep.
Just because of timing. Now, the only bad thing Fruitful did is he just pitted a lap too late, but he had such a big old gap. Dynastics is not a mug. He's not going to put people in the fence when they don't need to be in the fence.
Yeah.
So he's come out relatively risk-free, and he's a net 6.5 seconds clear. 6.5 seconds clear of Dynastics. He's 10 seconds clear of Calzo, and he's 11.5 clear of Alp. Alp's getting away just about from CDR, and so it's getting all quite spaced out. Just try and find the line.
What I will say, Jack, is when they said, "Nah, there's no rain," ha ha ha, we knew what we were doing. I told you, we tested it. We tested it before we put the weather on. I knew it'd come. And
it surprised the drivers as much as it surprised us, I think.
Yeah, good. I bet when everyone was settling in for their first pit stop, if they started on the mediums, and Jeff go, rain in 15 minutes. They're like, eh? And it's come with an absolute vengeance. Look at it. I mean, it looks great under the lights. But how wet is it going to get? There's still 7 laps to go when we cross. 1 minute 52, was it? Yeah, 1 minute 52 each. And that's from a leader, let alone the others. Look how wet it is.
You've got stuck with me. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's
I love it. We never get rain in EU1. Ha ha ha.
We're on the cusp. No, normally the rain division is the EU2 division.
Is it?
Yeah. No, it's after races I've been involved in have featured rain, and we've only really had it in Canada. And in Canada, it ruffled a few feathers, didn't it? I mean, Montana had the race from hell there, but I think it was rather heavily compared to what's going through in now. He's on the same pace as Fruitful, but it doesn't really matter. He's 70 seconds back. It's just a case of go round, and if there is a late safety car, you might profit. Problem for him is, and I don't know how much he's going to know, but there's no one really together until you get to Konzo. Konzo and Stinson are 4/10 apart. You've got Reeser and Dynamo separated by about a second.
Now a bit more.
Phoenix, yeah, that was a bit more, but second on track. Rowan's not too far behind, and Timmy's 13th. He's the next car ahead. He's 45 thereabouts, 45 seconds clear. So it's crazy. It's crazy how a race can turn, isn't it? Just on the back of, especially a track with high tyre wear. Yeah. It's crazy how a race turns, isn't it? And the manner that it has turned in has just been, well, depending on which way you look at things, it's been absolutely maddening for the top drivers and driving side at the front.
And we're going to get podiums, sitters, and interviewers that we don't normally. Sorry, interviewees that we don't normally get at this time. Dynastics EU2.
EU1.
Elliot's
AM1.
I was talking about we never get rain. Elliot said the EU4 is the Sahara division. They never get rain either. We never get rain. I think the last time we got rain was Canada. Maybe one race after that.
It was Canada from memory.
That's 9 weeks ago or whatever it is. That's November. So Stinson, no word of lie, has tried to get past Konzo for the past 4 laps. He's now going to try and go round the outside into turn 14. Both drivers being extremely careful. Good racing from the pair of them. And finally, after some trying, Stinson is ahead of Konzo. Just going to have the penalties on screen for a second. There you go. I'll put leader gap to make it a little bit more sense to the people who are watching. 6 laps to go. What a long race. By the way, I've gone through 2 full cups of orange juice. And what is that, vitamin C, D or K?
That's how you know that you're living the fast life.
Is that vitamin C, D or K?
C. It is C.
C. Well, that's why I'm awake. Donna Mo has not made a move. Well, a legit move. Did I say Basson? He's gone wet tyres. More people are coming into the pit, say Jack. Is this a sign of things to come? Everyone below a top 10 making a decision here? What's the rain here? Oh yeah, that's definitely heavy now, Jack, if you go on board with Donna Mo.
It is heavy rain. It's more to do now with, how wet the track gets.
Yes.
They've been at the cusp now for a little while, haven't they? So with that, it's not necessarily much of a surprise. Certainly the way that the times are dropping away. They're in the 1 minute 55s. Fruitful's in the 1 minute 53s.
Nearly 2 minute a lap. Jeez.
So Fruitful's in the 153s. That's dropped by 2 seconds. At that point, some of that's tyre wear, but I would suggest a lot of that is is to do with the conditions. Montana's pitted again.
How many safety cars do we have? One and one VSC?
One safety car and I think one VSC, but
No.
my memory's not good from about 2
Someone in
minutes
the
ago.
chat, let us know if you've been watching all the way through. One safety car, one VSC. I think that's correct. But there has been a few DNFs. I'm starting to think there might have been 2 VSCs. So definitely hitting the 55-minute mark, I'm pretty sure, on a Formula 1 50% race, which is incredible.
So Fruitful and Dynastics haven't yet stopped. You're on the cusp. What the drivers outside of the top 10 are going to be hoping for now is for it to buck it down.
Yep.
Now, what we're going to see from Dracer, and he's going to be the man to watch. His last lap was obviously heavily impacted. It was it was 2 minutes too, but he pitted. What we're going to see now is, if I can just try and click on him now. Actually, I can get his race director up because I'm not on stream. Let me just check this for you now. So his last lap on intermediates was 1 minute 54.7, and he deemed that enough to pit.
Yeah.
What we're going to be looking for from lap 27 is where his pace is compared to everybody else.
You're right. Yeah.
Because the driver out front, Fruitful, Dynastics, Calzo and Alp, even the Ferrari of CDR don't really need to pit, nor does Conzo. Conzo
so what
was
are you
feeling
trying
brave,
to say?
maybe.
Dresse Bassett, he's on for a mega finisher if he's made the right decision.
Well, he's eighth because Stinson has pitted, and somebody else has pitted as well. I'm struggling to see now. I think it might be Simply. I'm not saying he's on for a mega finish, but he's the man to watch. He's the guinea pig. He and Timmy and Montana, they're the guinea pigs. And once we see how much they're catching, and if it is quite a lot, Dynamo's in the 2 minutes. It's 2 minute 0.
I think this is going to end in tears, Jack. It's Rowan and Stinson going down to turn 7, that is, and they're both literally dragging each other along. Oh, it's getting quite tight. It's only for P11 at the moment, but they're providing the only battle on the track.
That's points.
It is, well, nearly.
Dynamo is not fast. That's not me being rude to him, but he's lost all grip.
I don't think
all rear
grip.
grip. Fruitful doesn't need to unless things get really choppy. He's got such a gap.
But he can't risk it though, because if Dynastics might go ahead and win the race.
Yeah, he's got such a gap that he can afford to just laissez-faire. You know, he can just leave it as is, not do anything about it until he absolutely has to. At the moment, I mean, if you're CDR now in the Ferrari and potentially Conzo, you can take a bit of a gamble, and CDR is gambling.
Yeah.
But I mean, Drace has caught Dynamo finger over fist here. You know, it's Dynamo's is vulnerable, but he had to stay out because, you know, he had to gamble. CDR's pitted, he's gone to wet tyres, and the only person he's going to lose position to is, well, he might lose out to Dynamo, but he's going to easily get back past. In fact, he does. So he's got CDR. Drace has nearly caught him, to be fair. Drace has just mugged CDR, to be honest. So that's a position change. That's a position change in favour of Dracer. So Dracer's undercuts really worked. He is the man to watch, and he's the man on the move.
Oh, wow. Yep. Yeah, just demonstrated with the exit. It's flight straight past Dynamo, and so does CDR. Double move.
It's a your heart sinks when you're in that position, when you're on the wrong tyres, but there's no point in you pitting. What I hope now is that other people hit the wall before he does. Because here comes Simply. Simply's now all over him, like a bee on a honey pot. And Reese is going to be coming for him. And then you've got Rowan and Stinson.
So it's
horrible.
Just evidence,
but it's a gap that he had. It's a gamble that he had to take. But it's also 5 or 6 laps, at least 5 or 6 laps after. When did they pit? They started pitting actually in lap 20, didn't they? And Montana put those wets on then. And it was lap 17. Montana put his wets on then, so it's 10 laps before the wets were any good. Which just shows you, doesn't it?
You know, when Dresse Bassett made that move out of turn 5, his gap to the guy in front was 11. Half a lap, 6.4. If he's doing 10 seconds a lap, there's 3 more to go. No, 2 more to go, 1 more to go. One, two.
There's
29
2.5 laps.
2.5.
2.5 laps to go.
So that could be 20 seconds. Dressé Basson, yeah, probably not going to get 4th, but definitely could get 5th.
Yeah, but if you Conzo now, you're in a bit of a catch-22.
Well, he's in a bit of trouble, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Mega.
He was in no man's land, whatever he did, because when you pit there, you fall backwards into the clutches of cars that are going to pass you anyway. You may as well stick it out and hope for the best, and that's exactly what he has done. But he's probably going to fall to, I'd say, 12th, 11th maybe.
Do you think?
Yeah, look at how much they're catching him. That row behind him, that row of cars, all the way to Dynamo.
Yeah.
Well, with the exception of Dynamo, sorry, they are all on wet tyres.
So
Now you look at how quickly they're catching him.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
Yeah, but he's not long, is it?
time.
That's 42.2 to 53.5. Yeah, and then it's Dressé Basson flying past Conzo.
He's got him already. He's got him already, isn't he?
Yeah.
Now, how close is he to the McLaren and to the Calzo?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 26.
Exactly.
And he's got 2.5 laps for him to do it.
It's not impossible.
No? 10
It's not
seconds a lap?
impossible, is it? I think that's
If
where
you
we're
when
at
they
now,
cross
isn't
the
it?
line, just check. Actually, let's go on board with Alp and see. Let's do it ourselves. Let's have a look.
I'm checking now. Alp is. He's busy focusing on the other Red Bull and Calzo. They are not fast.
They're crawling. Well, here's Alp then. Let's have a look. So here's lap time Alp as he crosses the line. 2:39. 2:39. So 2:04.
Race took 2 seconds out of him in the time we've been chatting about this.
Let's have a look. So it's a 2:04, basically. 2:04 dead.
Drace is in the 56s at the moment.
So yeah, 56s probably sounds about right. So what's that? Eight
He's
seconds?
need it to rain. Yeah, he's going to need it to rain a little bit more.
Yeah, 156.
But I tell you now, he's not far. He's not far away, is he?
Well, here's simply going past Conzo down the start-finish straight. We're going 3 wide. Someone else is getting involved as well. Who is it? I can't see.
Simply, and it's Risa. Risa's got the pair of them.
What is this camera view? I'm on the engine.
See, it's just grip and confidence at this point. It is all about grip and confidence in the wet at this point. And I mean, looking at it now, Montana is he's now 1 minute and 22 seconds back behind. He is catching for it. It doesn't matter at this point. The best he can do is 12 and hope that somebody crashes. But yeah, it's 20 seconds now between Alp and Dressé Basson. Do you know it's going to be really interesting to see because that rain is absolutely bucketing it down.
I don't think he'll make it. I think he'll get close. I don't think he'll make it. I'll wait, Jack. I'll wait for a Dressé Basson P4 or P3. I'll wait. I don't think it's going to happen, but I've seen weird things before. So here's the lead. Oh, sorry, Jack. Go on. You want to say something?
No. You far away.
I'm just happy for Fruitful. Another lap to go. Of course, anything can happen. But he was last. He's now first. Montana gets no points. Fruitful's going to get 25 because Stinson gets the fastest lap. We go to America with a finale to win the title. Yes, Fruitful's got to get like 21 points ahead. Yes, Fruitful's got to win and Montana's got to finish 8th or below. Yes, it seems impossible. But look what's happened tonight. It doesn't always go straight forward. It's gone straight forward for Fruitful, I guess, technically. But it doesn't always go straight forward. And this is what a bit of rain brings, a bit of spice. You know, look at what it's done. It's flipped the grid, basically.
14 seconds.
It's so much better.
14 seconds between Alp and Dressé Basson. I don't think he's going to make it, but he's going to be very close. Very close.
I mean, this is a 21st race of the season. I've only been here from like the 10th. But I wouldn't say there's been more than 3 or 4 races that have had rain in it. I could be wrong. Definitely not when me and Jack took over in the casting. So look at what he's done. It's amazing. And now we can go to America with a title fight. Yes, it's looking unlikely for Fruitful to win, but Montana will have pressure on him. And you never know what weather can have in America. The last time I did America, it was a heavy rain race all the way through. So You never know.
Let's do the custom thing again. Just don't worry about dynamic weather. Don't worry about random weather. Let's just do this again.
Yeah, let's start with rain and dynamic it. But this is what it does, everybody. This is what rain does. It brings entertainment. This race has been one of the best races I have ever commentated on, and I must have done over 350 by now, surely, something like that. It's been absolutely exceptional. It's had everything, and what it also has is I can't remember what the word is from A-level English, but something you can predict in the future, a cliffhanger. It takes us to America, and the reason why it takes us to America is because this man has done the last of front challenge and completed it with perfection. And Dynastics has driven incredibly well as well. I can't wait to interview him. Cows over Red Bull. I don't know if he's had a podium this season. He may have had one. But let's add another one to it, because the Red Bull driver has driven incredibly well. Alp has slid across the line. What a result for Alp, the admin, and CDR with another fantastic 5th place, just like he got in Azerbaijan a week ago. And you can see the rest for yourselves. What a race.
They were a lap away. The McLaren of Timmy is just going to miss out on points. He's probably going to catch Conzo. Conzo's on intermediate tyres and he's rather suffered. But there's 3 or 4 drivers that are going to be going, thinking about what might have been. Timmy, CDR and Dracer. Montana's binned it, I think, on the last lap. But Timmy, CDR and Dracer have, very, very close to getting very good results, because Dracer and CDR were 5 seconds behind. They'd have got third. What a race, though. I mean, it's just.
Do you know what? When I turned up at Montana got pole, I was like, it won't be a boring race in the midfield, because it never is. But I think we've got a title winner. I would have never in a million years.
That's what you know, doesn't it? Eh? Shows exactly what we know. Right, let's get the drivers into the commentary gantry.
Yes,
I'll let you take us through the final results from the penultimate race of the Contest of Speed EU1 Championship. I think it's season 6.
Driver of the day. No question. What a man. I was going to say what a fruit then, but he's not really a fruit, is he? What a drive from Fruitful. That's incredible. With the amount of talent that goes throughout this grid as well. Like, in other leagues you see some people doing, you're like, yeah, but you are quicker by quite a long way. To see something like that, like, I knew Singapore would be great. Look at 58 minutes! Oh, it was worth every second of it as well. 19th to 1st, a one-stop strategy. Fruitful the king. Williams' master plan. Fastest lap goes to Stinson before the rain came. 15th to 3rd for Calzo. Let's not forget that. 14th to 7th for Simply. 11th to 5th for CDR. Dresse Basser 9th to 6th. Alf dropped 2 places, but it wasn't bad, was it? 18th to 10th for Calzo. Rowan gets 9th after that incident early on in the race. The 2 Mercedes get 0 points. Sorensen retired in the tunnel. Oh, imagine if it was a constructors fight and Mercedes had 0 points tonight and it meant something. Oh, and that's why Fruit is the people's champ. Well, maybe. We've got another race to go yet. And also, there were a few incidents, weren't there, everybody, during that race? So, a couple of them will probably be getting looked at. Who've we got in?
At the moment, they are all on their way. Still pending.
All on their way. Well, let me back out and go to the showroom. Oh my days. That was including the formation lap, that was one of the best hours of racing. Like, ever. It was amazing.
We all had such low hopes, didn't we, when the formation lap took ages to get on.
Literally.
So I think Dynastics, right, so Dynastics, Calzo and IFR Fruitful have all been invited in. We're just waiting for them to turn up and see what we can get in terms of interviews. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I really want to hear about a last to first challenge at Singapore in a wet dry.
Tass was on for that one, yeah, at the end. Yeah.
Tass was on for that one, yes. We
results
managed
would
to
have been
get there.
printed. There you go, results. Yeah. Right. We'll have a look. Instead of showing the F1 cars in the showroom as well, everybody, we'll show the classic cars. We'll work our way through from 2010. How far are we going down? Let's have a look. Very slowly to 1988. I wasn't even born then. Jesus.
Oh, we've got two gentlemen in now. I don't think Dynastics normally doesn't get into to interviews, so I think it's fair that we start with not the last to first, but the nearly last to nearly first, and that's the Flying Scotsman of Calzo. Calzo, a bit of luck maybe came into it, but that's an excellent race and an excellent result for you after a difficult couple of races. Just talk about it from your perspective and what on earth went through your mind at the point of rain.
It was just the race as a total was just start to finish was absolute chaos. It was people diving up the inside everywhere and wings getting broken, and then it was full wet all of a sudden, and it was too much to handle. And then seeing everyone pit for wets and then gaining like 6 seconds a lap at the end was not fun. Like.
So when somebody's gaining on you at that rate of knots, and you know that you're going to be pretty much defenceless. What goes through your mind as a driver? Just tell everybody, where, is it a case of just keeping calm and trying to keep it on the island, or do you instinctively try and push a little bit more?
Well, in those conditions, if you were going to push, you were probably going to put it in the wall and intermediate, so you should literally keep it on the road and hope they didn't catch you up in time, but yeah.
Calzo, superb, mate. 15th to 3rd. It's his second podium of the season, and I think you're the only Scotsman on the grid. Oh no, there's one more actually.
No, his brother.
Yeah, my brother.
My brother! There you go. No, if you didn't know that, everybody. Calzo, what was the moment in that race where you thought, yeah, I'm getting a podium?
I think after the VSC when everyone came out in dries and I came out in hards, and everyone was on the older tyres ahead of me, I just fancied having a go at it. I mean, I knew I didn't have much great pace in Singapore. It's not a track that I like.
Oh,
I didn't have much faith going into the race. I thought maybe points at best. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock being that high up, but there was a few drivers out.
Well, I hope it changes your mind now. Those conditions, Cows, are incredibly hard. How hard? Like, how hard was it? Like, were you struggling? Was you slipping everywhere? Was you content? Was you in the zone? Was you controlling it? How hard was it? The heavyweight.
I think I wasn't too bothered about Dynastics and Fruit pulling away. I really didn't care at that point. As long as I got on the podium, then I didn't really care. So it was just keeping out behind me, and yeah, every single curb was just absolute depth. It was so wet, and every single corner, if you went further in the throttle, you were putting it in the wall. Like.
And you were aware that one more lap, and you probably might have finished out of the points. But the wet people were going 9-10 seconds quicker a lap. So you just completed the race in just about the right time. 31 laps, not 32.
Yeah, just basking in the teeth.
Well, mate, enjoy that podium. Your second one in 21 races, so that must be a good feeling, mate.
Don't, honestly, I've had a terrible season.
Are you back next season?
I'd like to say yes. I don't know. I mean, most of the races this season I just turned up after like 10 minutes of time trial and whacked the setup on and went, yeah, we'll go for it. So I actually did a bit of practice for this race for once, so maybe, I don't know, maybe if I get another good result next week, I'll have a bit more desire to keep going.
Good man. Well, have a good night and we'll see you in America.
Yeah, see you in America.
Cheers, buddy.
We are now going to switch to the EU2 Reserve second place. A fantastic result, filling in really NWS Dynastics. Talk about it from your perspective, because you've had a solid race pretty much the entire race, and then it, like most of the drivers on the podium, it kind of opened up for you.
Well, yeah, I would like to say this is one of the most tough races I've ever done. Heavy rain in Singapore, that's not fun at all. I was really struggling all the time when the rain came out, but I managed to get into the pit at the right time. When it started raining and like crazy. Went from one lap on dry to heavy rain, and yeah. So got into the pit on the right tire, and then just kind of cruising at home in P2. I knew I couldn't catch Fruitful. He was far today, so yeah, and I got the 3-second time penalty. So P2, I'm really happy for that.
So when you are reserving a tier up, as you know we both have done, and you're getting into a point where you can get a podium, it's a different mindset, isn't it? I mean, it's just a case of, okay, whatever you do, don't hit the wall, don't crash. Is there a bit more pressure on? Because, if it's your own tier, you mess yourself up. But when you're reserving for somebody else, do you feel that there's a bit more pressure because you're, looking after someone's seat?
Yeah, definitely. Because yesterday in the race in EU2, I touched the wall and crashed. So I was really scared of doing the same thing again. But I got a good ribbon on the track, and just take a chill to the finish line, to P2.
Dynastics, well done, buddy. Nice to see a pretty different podium tonight. It's really, really good. What a race, by the way. I said in commentary that's one of the best races I've ever done, and done many. Would you go up there and say that's one of your best races as a driver ever?
Excuse me?
Oh, sorry. Would you say that was one of your best races as a driver ever?
It's hard to say because I've driven a lot of really strong race pace against some of the top elite drivers. But one of the best minimum practice races, I think, yeah. Compared to what I've done before. As a reserve driver, it's maybe the best race I've done.
Good, I like to hear that. And you've done really well in EU2, so I'm guessing you're coming up to EU1. Are you looking forward to taking on the challenge against these top tier drivers?
Well, I actually don't know yet if I'll be here in this league next season. But only because I'm a little bit pressured on Wednesday, so yeah. We'll see. I'll know in 2 weeks' time, hopefully.
So you did the race in EU2 last night. Can you just give the viewers a little bit of an idea what the main differences are between EU2 and EU1, because you've done both in Singapore?
Well, it really that's different because yesterday I was I'm on my way to a Twitch on wheel, and yesterday I was wheel driver. Today I was on pad, so I feel like the pace and the competition is really, really, really hard here in EU1. You see the qualifying time there was under a tenth between P4 and P8. That's ridiculous. Where in EU2 you can get pole by 1/10 or 2/10, and the field is much closer in EU1.
Well, Dynastics, you put on a show for us. Thank you very much. Have a good night, sir.
Thank you, mate.
I think we're now going to go to the race winner, and that is IFR Fruitful. Bit of a boring race, really, Fruitful, wasn't it? Nothing really happened.
No!
You could say that. Well, from a point on, to be honest, this was quite a boring race. I just had to manage the pace in front. But before that was really fun. It was such a fun race to drive. As when the rain came, it was literally a gamble. Are you going for the wets? Are you going for the inters? Man, the end was so stressful. It was dreadful to drive on those inters.
When you are, when it is stressful, when you are struggling to obviously maintain focus because you're worrying about obviously where your tyres are, does that, how much harder does it make it? Because you're not only thinking about where the grip is, you're not only thinking about trying to avoid the curves, you're not only thinking about trying to avoid the walls, but when you're in a championship fight, which managed to extend to next week, which you might not have expected to. Do all of these factors just mean it's easier to take your eye off the ball a little bit?
Yeah, well, I've never seen myself as being in a championship fight the last 4 or 5 races, so I've driven without any pressure. The that I've put on myself. So no, I was quite vibing in front. Just what you said, just keeping the car on the track. You can take the curbs on this game, and you don't have to drive different lines, unfortunately. But it's just, yeah, keep the car on the track and try to maintain somewhat of a decent pace, and go to the finish line. That's it.
You drive with pressure next week?
No, I don't think so, because that next week will be nearly impossible. Montana P8. How many times has it happened this season? Today and like once more.
Canada?
But
It's
sorry to butt in. It did happen tonight, and it can happen again. Like,
of course.
You've had a lot of people, Fruitful, in the YouTube tonight, from start to finish, giving so much support. Oh, Fruit is for People's Champ. The Williams Master Plan. Fruitful, what a drive. Everything. I'm just going through now. We had a lot of viewers tonight. It was great. Like, the entertainment you provided from going back to front is insane. And I said with Jack, it was one of the best races I've ever seen. I don't know what Jack's seen. May agree, may disagree. I don't really know what to ask, because Jack basically asked for the most basic ones, which I was going to say. But how confident was you after that safety car? Oh, was it a safety car? No, VSC. When you went to the wet tyres, how confident was you that you were going to bring it home? Sorry, intermediates.
Yeah, I was quite confident. I didn't know Dynastic was so fast, because he was really fast. I seriously had to pick up the pace for him not to overtake me.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of pushing at the start, but I knew I had it once I pulled away, and yeah. Now, but one thing, I just absolutely love this community. I get so much love every single time from this community. So big appreciation, appreciation.
Look at that. And also, just to add to that appreciation, this is for your fans in the chat. Here's a stat that all of you would have probably wanted to hear. After tonight, Fruitful now technically has more podiums than Montana throughout the season. And they've raced the same amount of races. Montana's won less. Doesn't take away from the fact. Fruitful has now more podiums than Montana. So if he doesn't win the title in America, which is a very tough task, he does have something to go off. But there you go. Yeah, you've got a lot of fans here, Fruitful.
Let's forget the wins and just focus on the podiums. That's the perfect one.
I seriously think if the last time I did America, there was rain, and it stopped on lap 8, and it was still wet the whole race. So the people who didn't
I was in the race.
Oh, you was in the race? PSF1, yeah. I think you got screwed by it.
Yep.
So you never know with America. The weather could come, something could happen. All you have to do is win and just hope. That's it. You got to drive your best and win.
Nothing.
No pressure.
I got that.
He's got this, everybody. He's got this. Jack, any final comments to end what was the best hour of racing ever?
Well, I think anything that really could happen did happen. Certainly, the weather came and spiced it up at a point where a lot of drivers were unsure. And when it leaves drivers unsure, that brings mistakes. It brings errors in judgment, as we see from the championship leader tonight. And it just means that, it spices it up. It keeps it alive for next week. And when it comes down to a one race decider or a final race decider, anything can happen. It might well go as the form book suggests, but there's always going to be that bit of seed of doubt, especially if we get a race with conditions like we have today, which might just, play into the hands of those in the chasing pack. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fantastic.
America.
And certainly,
Yeah.
It's going to be great to see exactly how it pans out, because Texas isn't averse to a bit of rain.
Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't like America, not just as a driver, but a commentator. There's only ever been one good race, but I have a feeling, like tonight, there could be something special. So, I'm ready for it. But, you have to wait a week for it. So, see you in a week's time. EU1, final round of the season, where we crown a champion in EU1, and we await the Season 7 calendar, which every driver's been voting on. I think it's shortened with the favourite tracks. So that's going to be epic as well. Please stay safe. Have a great night. See you in a week's time. An American Tier is at 2 AM, I believe. So please tune into that if you're awake. And of course, you're American. Good night.